guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Well, hail. I should probably start here, I think. Gentlemen, fine scholars, ladies, and all the other ships at sea. We're going to start here. This is a Kenwood 922A. And we're looking at the back side of it here. And as we're going, this is one of the ones that I bought at a local fest thing. I don't know if this will come out. Hopefully it will. But you can very lightly see the iMac. This is a 3500Z. They haven't come unsoldered, but they're not all too opaqued out. So we're kind of interested to see how these tubes are going to test. But as I'm going through and I'm cleaning it, because it's really dusty. It's just really, really dusty. Like, I came in and I took the screen out because I wanted to clean this screen up. This is the RF shield. And this sits inside the amplifier like this. Well, down in here like so. And, you know, I kind of like to have everything really in good shape when it goes down the road from here. So the next thing I said to myself is, well, I got to clean the fan. So I started looking at the fan. And this fan is pretty gross. So then I noticed this whole corner of the fan's busted off. And then this mount for the fan is dished in. It's dished in a little bit, right on this corner. So I can tell what happened. It got dropped, it got broke, and instead of just replacing the fan, they did kind of like a Quasimodo fix, right? Just a temporary fix, and it never got to be permanent. So I got to tell you a story. I'm sitting at Puyallup, and I'm watching stuff come in and out the door. And I couldn't get over to the guy quick enough. But I seen this come in on a pallet of stuff. And I see this guy, this dude.
There's no lion on the water gate.
They like to hear themselves.
It's great.
Like
All right.
candy.
Yeah, that guy. This handle's $250. I've never met him before, but I know what he looks like. And the reason I know what he looks like is because he sent me this old VHS tape. And this, now we're talking like 10 years ago now. This all went down. He sent me this old VHS tape, and it had a bunch of stuff on it. It was a collection of old movies, and this is back when the guys, you know, pre-internet. You guys can remember this. Most of my guys can remember this. Pre-internet, pre-digital age, and if you wanted to get a copy of a copy of a copy of something, you had to get with a guy that had it, and then you had to talk him into letting you video copy it, right? Well, he sent me this video because at the time I had a VHS to DVD converter, which broke, by the way. And he sent me this video so I could convert it and put it on DVD. And what was on this thing was him talking about how to set up his mobile, or how he set up his mobile, and how other guys had set up their mobiles. And it was great. I mean, it took some time back in the day to make this happen. Well, he sent me the video, and right about then is when I started going through the divorce, right? So all of a sudden, Dwayne's video gets shoved way off to the back corners of the universe. And I didn't think anything about it. And I come back around to it about, 6-7 months later, and now he's a little steamed. So I thought, well, I better sit down and do this. So I popped the tape into the converter unit, and I put a blank DVR in it, and I hit record and play, and the thing proceeds to upchuck its guts. The old VHS player just decided to die. So, you know, literally just gone through a divorce, got like 10 cents to my name. Meanwhile, here's Dwayne over in the corner. Hurry up, I'm just tired. I felt bad, dude. I felt bad. So I had to wait till the next payday, and I got some money, and I went out and I got a VHS player and the DVD converter unit, and I did the nasty. I converted one tape over and I put it on DVD. Hence the reason where this clip comes from.
on every body panel on this vehicle. What you do is you radiate off of the outside surface of your vehicle as a ground plane. By making sure that you have a positive ground on every door panel and on every panel of your vehicle, you're ensuring that you're radiating off that piece and using it for a ground.
So now I tell you the backstory. So I did the nasty, and I got the video, and I sent it on. I sent the tape back, and I sent the DVDs back, right? But I'd been hearing through the grapevine that he might have still been a little bit grumpy about that. Now I watched what happened. The pallet come in, and 250 seen this amp, and pew, like a ninja, he was on it. I was like, okay, I'll get over there in a minute. So he literally pays the guy whatever he paid him, picks the thing up, walks it over, sets it down on his table, and I walk up and say, how much? And he told me, and without even blinking, I reached in my pocket, pulled out a bunch of crisp 100s and handed it to him, picked the amp up, and walked away. I said, nice doing business with you, 250. He's like, yeah, you too, BBI. Now, I tell you this whole story because I had been underneath the impression that this gentleman was upset with me because I took so long on doing his video conversion for free. And rightly so. He had a little bit of room to wiggle and wobble and have a little bit of gripey room. But he came over later, and he hands me... Where'd the book go? Where'd the book go? There it is. Mountain View! Ah. I gotta go put that with the Ten-Tech. I don't know, you guys will watch the videos, you'll see that I just put a Ten-Tech Centurion. Here's the owner-operator's manual and all the original literature for that amp. I gotta go put it with that amp if somebody ever decides to buy it. This is the original Kenwood 922 instruction manual and the 922 service manual for this amp. He come over to give me this, and he said the coolest things to me, and that's going to stay private just between me and him, what was said. But I thought that was straight up legit. What he came over and said really made me feel good. It reinforced to me that there was no hard feelings between the two of us, and that makes me feel good. So, Mr. 250, I appreciate you picking the thing off the pallet and taking it over your table and then letting me get a hold of it for a few minutes. I thought that was really awesome. Thank you. It's here. So, all that knowledge being set aside, we've got to go through and we're going to thoroughly have to clean this box. It's full of dust. It was not in a cigarette smoker's environment, but it was run in a fairly moist part of the world, so every kind of flat surface that can have anything settle on it has. So our first mission that we have to accept is that we're going to go in and we're going to change this fan. Now, let's see, this happens to be a 100 volt, 7.5 watt, 50-60 hertz fan. Now I happen to have here, I love this, there's no standards anymore, I swear to God. We have ourselves a Sawn On, this is actually a better fan in my opinion, 115 volt, 16 hertz, 1.21/1.1 amp fan. One gives us ratings in volts, the other one gives us rating in amps. So I'm going to make this segment real quick. My buddy Scorpion from Scorpion Repair just called me on the phone. I'm sitting here BSing with him. Okay, so this is the reason we had to change the fan out. One, it's filthy. But two, it's broken as hell. Look at this. Which is no big deal. The body of this thing's broken. And I'm sure it sat there and ran for a million years like this, but see what I'm saying? Busted, you guys. So if we do the quick math, we have a 100 volt fan at 7.5 watts, which works out to be 0.075 amps, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this little fan, which isn't really a little fan, but is hard plastic with a metal frame, with a completely 100% metal frame fan. This Sunnon or Sunyon or whatever. It's 115 volts, but it's 0.21 amps or 0.18 amps. Okay? So we're going to wire this up. This is going to move probably almost double the volume of air as this, which is good. It's a good thing. It's an upgrade. So while I was in here, I thought, well, I'll take a couple minutes, and I cleaned up the RF deck, got it all nice and pretty again, cleaned all the dust and dirt out of every section in here, cleaned the input and output, or the load tune capacitors, straightened up the tank coil, which is all silver. This thing's actually in really, really, really good shape. So went ahead and I banged this all out so it's all nice and square, and got it all cleaned up the inside and the outside. And we were able to utilize the stock power wire for the fans. This is a fiberglass tube that then they go and they silicone impregnate. Yes, I just said it on video. Okay, so the last step is we got to put, well, first to the second to the third to the last step, is we've got to install the shield that's now cleaned out. We're going to install the fan into the body, and they're going to reattach the body. Then we'll put the tubes back in, but we're going to put them in without the high voltage attached. We're going to do some bypassing on that, and then we're going to turn this thing on. We're going to make sure we got an air bottle test. Make sure that both of these tubes over here are actually holding their vacuum. So once we do that, then we'll go on and we'll really apply the high voltage to the tubes so that we don't have a catastrophic failure if there is one. So on that note, I'm going to get back to the phone call, and when we come back, this will all be put back together. See you in a minute. Okay, so we flip this thing around. We still got the lid off and everything. I've got all the safety locks in are bypassed. I've run this once and I found out that I had a bad light over here, so cool. Now we got all the lights are working all the way across. High voltmeter's working. This looks good. Okay, next step is we put the tubes in and we're going to do an air bottle test. And that was with the new fan running, by the way. Not much louder, but a whole lot more volume of air. So Mr. Scorpion, as you're watching this video, you're going to see your name come up. And now what we're doing here is an air bottle test. And what we're doing is just looking to see if the tubes light up, which they do. And we let it sit there and run for a good 5-10 seconds and see if anything starts smoking to make sure that the tubes haven't lost their vacuum, which they haven't. Now, Scorpion, as you very well know, being a fellow technician yourself, you don't want to run it for too long, or otherwise the tops of those tubes get too hot and you can't handle the tops of the tubes. So all of you that are listening into my conversation with Scorpion and got to see this little video clip now know tubes still got vacuum. So let's go hook some high voltage up to it and see what it does from there. Okay, let's start here. Amps on's in the 10 meter position. That is a 1,000 watt slug in peak. 1,000 in average, 5 watt slug in reverse. Start out with a 2950, 5 watt slug between the 2950 and the Kenwood. We've also got the bench 2 pill in line. Now that we've got all that established, let's lock this puppy down on the tripod. Let's see if I can set this up at such an angle that you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so start with just radio drive in the 1,000 watt position. We're going to start out, let's make sure I got all this in frame. We're going to start out looking right here and right here. This is our grid meter. Zero signal, 150 mils. So we're spot on the money. Good zero signal, you got 2,000 volts on the plate. So now we're going to go over and we're going to look at this meter here in peak. So, about 20 watts worth of drive, if that. Just radio drive, 10 in, or 15 in, about 150 out, which is perfect. We're going to go to the high setting, the 3,000 volt setting. It gets us up to about 250. So let's go back down to low. Now I'm going to bring the 2 pill online. We're going to look back over here at the peak meter. Just nailing it in the corner. So let me go ahead and I'll come off the key off the amp. Putting about 220 watts worth of drive in it, right? So now We're going to go up to 2x. 1900 watts worth of peak power. We're still below a half amp. And we're going to go to the high mode setting. Now we're off the scale. So I've just done over 2000 watts. So now we're going to go down to the 5x setting. Okay? I got to retune it. About 2,500 watts worth of peak power on 10 meters of 200 watts worth of drive, 220 watts worth of drive. Otherwise, it's working exactly to factory specs. Input tune is perfectly flat on 10 meters. Now I got to run through and do all the other tests. Like, you know what, I'm going to skip it. If the customer wants me to come back and shoot him a separate little video of me running through all the different bands, which is 180, 80 meters, 40, 20, and so on, I can. But right now, it's running perfectly as advertised. So now, let's turn the voltage up a little bit. So we take the 2-pill driver, we're taking the radio, and we're going from 12 volts to 14 volts. That's over 3,000 watts of power. These tubes are in really good shape. So, to help validate that, to bring you guys down in a little bit closer here. 3,000 watts of power. It's into the 2-pill, of course. So let's go ahead and come onto the foot pedal. That's our input tune into the 922A. So let's come back and go back to the tripod. Let's make sure that the RF power meter is working. Run through all the functions. These tubes are in great shape. Okay, so operate, standby. Go into operate. And RF power. It's crazy to think they have it so that the meter can go all the way to 4,000 watts. About 3,100 max. Which this thing is running really good. Well, I'm not going to go any further with this. I'm going to call it a stop right here. Jeez, not even warm. Love that fan back there just running away. Clean, quiet, and cool. Alright, on that note, I'm out of here. I'm going to go and get this thing ready to go on to its new home. I ended up taking this thing, buying this thing. I took a whole bunch of stuff in on trade for it, and I think that this deal is complete. So, on that note, gentlemen, I appreciate you all tuning in, coming in to see what I got going on here tonight in this beautiful old love factory of amplifier pornography that I have over here. I want to say, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything that you need to talk to me about, please feel free to call me on the phone. And remember, I've been saying this a lot, it was a little overwhelming for me at first over in Puyallup when everybody and their brothers started coming up to me and wanting to get a picture and that kind of thing. I enjoy that. I enjoy getting to meet people. I enjoy everybody getting to come up and say hi to me and everybody wanting a picture. Do not hesitate if you see me out in public or you run into me at some kind of radio convention or function or whatever. Come talk to me, man. You guys are my people. All of you guys are my people. And it doesn't matter which side of the street you're on. The ham community, the CB community, it doesn't matter to me. I could care less. I give thanks for every single one of you guys, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. I say thank God for you guys. And hopefully that you guys understand I'm here to serve all of you. So on that note, I'm out of here. Gentlemen, bump bump from the biggest duck in Idaho. I'll see ya. Bye.